Hey Taylor, this is Les with Demon Deacon Digest. How's it going?
Hi Les, how you doing?
Doing well. Just walk us through what was it like getting your first collegiate touchdown Saturday night?
It was a really good experience. I'm glad that we could get one up there at the end. Hopefully next week against State we can get one a little bit more meaningful to the score of the game. But overall, a very humbling experience, and yeah.
How important is it for the slot position to put up the kind of production that you and Ja'Cory did last week in terms of getting this offense moving this season?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? The sound was down.
Now, just how important is it to see the slot position put up the kind of numbers and production that you guys did between you and Ja'Cory last week?
It's really promising. Hopefully, we can keep that going forward, and then also we can get our guys on the outside going as well. We saw flashes of very promising drives from the outside from At, Donovan, Nolan, and Donald. All those guys made plays, so hopefully we can keep that going forward. We just need to put it all together.
Taylor, what'd you do before you got back to Wake, like during the quarantine and isolation and all that, to stay sharp?
So I was out on the field working every day. I was out working actually. Mitch, he lives 20 minutes from me. Me and him were throwing up at a nearby field. And then also I was in the weight room a good bit, and I was just really trying to sharpen my skills. I was watching a lot of Kendall's film from last year and just trying to pick things out from his game, and really just trying to come back the best player, the best version of myself when I got back.
I was wondering if the is it Arlington? I don't
Centerville.
know. Okay. I was wondering if that connection had played out to where you guys were able to hook up and stay sharp and run some routes together. So did you say you did that twice a week, 4 times a week? Like, how often were you all getting together and throwing?
We're out there 2 to 3 times a week, and it definitely helped because having someone that knows our system allowed us to do a lot of things, stay sharp over the break when not everyone had the opportunity to do that. So I felt like it gave us an edge coming back.
Did you guys know each other before Wake Forest? Like, I know you're a year older than him, but were you guys on this right? I know you didn't go to the same high schools, so were those rival schools that you went to, and did you know each other that way?
So we didn't play them, but I had known him through Wake. I'd probably say is how I got to know him. We were down on a few visits together, stuff like that, and kind of hooked up that way. And then kind of just he was still in high school, but we were still talking and stuff like that. So I'd definitely say through Wake.
During those sessions with Mitch, was it just you two, or was Mitch's brother there as well? Sometimes his dad. I know his dad's a football coach. Were there other guys involved with that group?
Yeah, no, Mitch's brother was there, and then saw also some kids in the area as well. We were all out there trying to get work, trying to stay sharp for the season. Although they're not, the VHSL hasn't allowed them to play, so they'll play starting in February. But a lot of kids were out there throwing.
What are some of the things you picked up from watching the film of Kendall last year?
Just his ability to see the field, read coverages. Him being a quarterback, he sees the defense unlike any other receiver that I've been around. So I'd always, when he was here, I'd always try to pick his brains and get to know what he was seeing, how he was seeing it. So I'd probably say that was the number one thing with Kendall, and then also just all the intangibles that come with Kendall, with his ability to change directions. He runs sharp routes, and his hands, like he was the ideal receiver to really learn from because he did it so well.
Taylor,
Hey Taylor,
did that
can
play
you,
out for you on
Eddie?
Saturday? That work that you had with Mitch when you guys were out. How much did that play out in the game on Saturday? Did you feel how confident were you in the game?
I'd say it definitely helped. I think timing and confidence in one another is a big thing between a receiver and a quarterback. So us being able to throw all spring, I'd say it definitely helped us.
Looking at the tape against Clemson, what were some things that you guys saw in the receiver room that you want to work on?
I feel like there's a lot of room for growth. We showed glimpses of greatness. I think that we got guys like Donovan and AT, like I said earlier, we're all making plays, and then me and Ja'Cory as well. But I feel like if we can all come together and do those plays all in one drive rather than just here and there, I feel like that's the big key for us.
You mentioned looking at Kendall's tape and having discussions with him. What were those discussions like, just learning all of those things from him? I mean, how much did that help you?
I'd say it helped me a good bit. I mean, because I was a true freshman coming in, and here was a guy who had been here for 4 years, who had seen it from both the quarterback and receiver position. So I really tried to sit back and just learn as much as I could, and it was definitely something that I didn't take for granted.
Taylor, I know you've mentioned the impact that Kendall made for you, but did you – and I know you weren't able to ever share the roster as him and share the same room, but did you pay attention to what Greg did and
Oh yeah, absolutely. No,
watch his film too?
yeah, absolutely. No, when I was getting recruited here, Greg was someone that I had talked to a good bit, and him as well. I mean, Greg and Kendall both. I mean, those are two really good guys that I've gotten to study in the film room. So I mean, what they've done for this program is unmatched, really.
Taylor, you mentioned the word promising twice when you were talking about the slot play against Clemson. That indicates that it was okay, good, but there's still a lot left in the tank. What's your feeling about where you go from there?
I think that we have a lot of room to grow. It was our first game, so I mean, of course there were some mistakes that were made, and I feel like if we can clean those up going forward, I think that we have a chance to have a really special year.
Taylor, are you looking forward to taking snaps against somebody other than Clemson? I was just checking.
I mean, absolutely, but no game in the ACC is easy. That's for sure. I feel like, in my opinion at least, that we need to prepare. Like each week is Clemson, because in reality, each game is going to be a dogfight. There's no given games in the ACC. So,
Taylor, what was the most challenging part for you on Saturday?
I'd probably say the speed of the game. I hadn't touched the field in over a year and a half. So just getting acclimated to that. And we do a good job simulating that speed in practice, but seeing it in practice versus seeing it on the game day is two different speeds, that's for sure. And then you also throw in those guys on the other side of the ball in orange that are moving pretty fast. So that I definitely need to get acclimated to.
That's something. Do you think it's going to be a challenge for the receiving corps as a whole? You know, Donovan played his 4 games last year. AT was out there for a bit, but overall, you guys don't have a lot, or have been off the field, most of you, for a big chunk.
Right. I mean, we have been off the field a good bit. I mean, but then you look at the guys that we learned from last year. We were able to learn from, like I said earlier, Kendall, guys like Sage, Scotty, Stephen Claude, all those guys that we were able to sit back and kind of take pieces of their game and try to implement into our game. Now we just need to take that next step and put it onto the field on game day each and every week.
How about on the punt returns? What does it feel like standing back there knowing that all those orange guys are moving really, really fast coming down to you?
I mean, for me, it's I mean, the number one thing is to field the ball, make good decisions back there. And then if they do give you space, you got to try to make something happen. And it's not always easy, but you kind of got to take what they give you and get the yards as you can. But for me, I love it because it's so exciting. You really don't know what's going to happen on each play, because one play could be a fair catch, one play could be kicked out of bounds, and then the next play they give you 10 yards of separation, and you're going left and right. But so that's what I enjoy it actually.
Would you have any word that would describe what you think of as your return style?
Hey, you said any word? One word?
Yeah.
Probably gritty. Someone that can can make the right decision when he needs to do it. But then also when he gets the ball in his hand, he's going to get north and south and try to get as many yards as he can. Not scared to take a hit.
Part of being back there is part of being back there, Taylor, is you're one of the faster guys. Who are the other maybe top 3 or 5 fastest guys on the team?
You look at guys like Jasir Taylor, Nasir Greer. Those guys on the other side of the ball can move very fast. You look at Donovan. Donovan can move very fast as well. Our backs, Kenneth and Christian, both can move really fast. I think we have a lot of speed everywhere, really, on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Taylor, how strange did it feel to be playing the number 1 team in the country, but at the same time, there's no fans in attendance? I mean, did it feel – how did that stack up to, I guess, a normal game for you?
It was definitely different, that's for sure. We had some crowd noise that was being pumped in, but it definitely wasn't the same. You think about things like momentum and how important the fan base getting into the game is and how it can really swing the tide of a game. And it was different. It was definitely different, that's for sure. So I guess we'll see how that goes moving forward. But
got time for one more for Taylor.
Taylor, nobody on Wake's roster at this point has lost an opener before. The last time Wake lost an opener was 2014. So I'm curious what the approach has been. I know Coach has the 24-hour rule, and you guys are supposed to be over it by Sunday, but this is the first time anybody on this roster started out a college season with a loss, at least at Wake Forest. So wondering what the mood of the team is now.
I mean, I think that we need to take it with a grain of salt, knowing that we just played the number 1 team in the country. Clemson's definitely a really talented team, that's for sure. So, I mean, I'd probably that's the first time we've opened up with ACC play. So, I think that we need to learn from it, grow from it. I mean, what an opportunity to be able to play those guys on such a big stage, having game day come here and all that. So, I think we need to learn from it, grow from it, and NC State hasn't played a game yet, so hopefully that can play to an advantage for us.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll get that headline in there. Clemson is not Utah State.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thanks, Taylor.
We just want to throw that on you. Whenever you guys are ready.
Hey, good morning, Jasir. How are you?
How are you?
Good. After reviewing the tape, what were the big lessons that you guys learned on the defensive side coming out of the game Saturday against Clemson?
After watching the film, we saw that we left a lot of plays out there. I would say about 24 points of Clemson walk-ins, and due to miscommunication by us with the signal and communicating the calls, we were just playing one defense on one side and another on the other side, which leads to easy touchdowns.
Is part of that just due to it being the first game of the season, or part of that due to the fact that you're playing Clemson, or maybe a little bit of both?
I think it's a lot with it being the first game. Coming in, we prepared to there was supposed to be no crowd noise really, and then late into the week that got changed. So we were working on hand signals throughout the whole week, thinking that it would be quiet and the offense would hear us. Then we get there to the game and it's kind of loud. We had to adjust on the fly, and that caused a lot of miscommunications.
One of the things just here that Coach Clausen told us in the last month was that you guys were mentally further ahead than at any other point that he's been at Wake. So is that kind of first? Did you share that feeling, and then second, when you look at the film and look at some of the breakdowns, is that kind of concerning and surprising to you?
Yeah, I definitely felt like we were mentally more advanced than we were before, especially coming into this game, especially with our preparation, just knowing the game plan inside and out. And then when we get out there, it kind of was disappointing to see that we did have mental breakdowns where we felt like that's where we were strong at. And after watching the film, we got a lot of those things straightened out and working more on communication and just identifying who the signaler is and communicating thing, overemphasizing it, just so there's no secrets on defense and we won't have mistakes like that again.
What is the biggest way to address this? Is it just kind of getting everybody together in the team room and making sure everybody's on the same page and having guys admit that, maybe they didn't know what they thought they knew?
Yeah, so we just meet as a defense in the team room and we just really try to get to the bottom of it. We're not trying to point fingers. So we pull up the plays where we had miscommunications and the coaches are asking, like, what are we doing wrong? What happened here? It's not like pointing a finger on who's wrong. We're just really trying to get to the bottom of it as a team and solve it.
How similar did the breakdowns feel to what was going on early in the season 2 years ago in the games against BC and Notre Dame at home, those back-to-back weeks?
I don't know. I don't got an answer for that one.
That's fair.
Good question.
Jasir, what are some positives that you take from Clemson as far as defense is concerned?
I really think that we proved to ourselves that without those mental errors, we really can play with anybody. Usually that game is a lot different, as you've seen in the past. And I felt like without those mistakes, the game would have been totally different. And it was really surprising that we had a lot of guys step up in different positions. We had Nasir at corner. We had a freshman safety, Nick. It was just a lot of moving parts, and I think we handled it well for the most part other than those couple times.
What do you take from that moving forward to NC State? Obviously, you want to correct the miscommunications, but what else is it that, as a defense, you're trying to work on heading into this game against NC State?
Well, as a team, usually the most improvement we need is from week 1 to week 2. And as a defense, we just want to go out there and establish our dominance and not take anyone lightly. Our end goal is ACC championship, and with the new schedule and how things are, that's still a goal of ours. And we just have to take it one game at a time and not take anybody lightly. We can't look into the past, saying last game we came out strong against NC State, but this is a rival. They're a good team. It's their first game. They have everyone back, so we're ready for a battle.
Jasir, is there a little bit of a advantage for you guys that you guys have already played a game and this is their first one?
I guess the game experience is the advantage, but they have an upper hand by having extra time to prepare for us. So the way we make up for that is just getting in the film room when we're not on the field to catch up to that kind of disadvantage that we have of them studying us.
One thing Coach Clausen – go ahead.
How close to game time did you know that so many DBs weren't going to be available to you? I think I counted 3 of the 4 freshmen out there were not in pads, and I never saw Trey or Kobe out there. I mean, what was the communication process leading up to the game that those guys weren't going to be available?
We knew that at the beginning of the week. A lot of the freshman corners were out because of contact tracing. Kobe, that happened in the middle of the week, like Tuesday. It was just a freakish accident in one-on-ones. So I guess we were prepared for that. We knew we were a little thin in that corner.
And then Trey was banged up for the last couple of weeks, and he's not quite ready to go yet?
No. I think his process is going well, actually. I think he should be ready. I'm not sure, actually. He did hurt his foot, though. Sure.
I won't make you be a doctor. I don't know that you're pre-med.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, Jasir. How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Talk about, if you would. Oh, wait, I started with talk about. Sorry, Connor. You come in as a freshman, and it seems like things move really fast, and yet it's going to take forever till you graduate. Now, here you are as a senior. How fast has this whole thing gone for you?
It really went in the blink of an eye, to be honest. It felt like yesterday I was a freshman just hanging in the back trying to learn from the older guys. And then I wake up the next day and I'm the older guy and I'm the leader and the captain. And I try to get with the freshmen, make sure they soak in everything from the people that are ahead of them right now. And it's kind of hard to learn from people when you're expected to be in it when we're so thin at corner. So just getting a lot of freshmen ready to play and also just enjoy the time that they're here is kind of the battle.
How much impetus does that give you to want to show, as a captain, to leadership, not only talking and getting with guys, but speaking by your actions on the field and making plays?
Yeah, I think that's kind of my role. I'm not the loudest, so I usually pull guys to the side and teach them that way, and also lead by example. But I learned over the summer that leading by example is not always enough to do, because not a lot of people will pick up just if you're just doing the right things. You got to tell people why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and work with them as you prepare to bring them along.
Anything else for Jasir?
This year, I know Clemson is not exactly the same as a Utah State or a Tulane or a Presbyterian, but this is the first time anybody on this roster has lost the opener at Wake. So I'm wondering what the different feeling is when you look back on, from week 1 to week 2 in past years compared to this year.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot different when you're coming in the week with a win and then a loss, but I really haven't seen it affect us as much. Besides, wow, we really left a lot of plays out there, and we're just anxious to get back on the field to get our first win get our first win under our belt and start the season off. Right.
You have time for one more for Jasir?
Can't hear you.
I'm good. If everybody's good, we'll let you go, Jasir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jasir. Good to see you.
See you guys at 3 for Miles.
Sounds good.
See you guys.